Hello and welcome everybody to the BAMS cast week 7 recap. The Tottenham Hotspurs continue their domination. Don't know when they're going to stop. We tried to dead some guys on Miami. Wasn't great for Miami as a team, but Ford continues to roll. And then we're separating some wheat from the chaff here that we're beginning really to identify what that playoff picture looks like. A couple of guys on the outskirts trying to hang on, and a couple of guys like me who just said, nope, not my year. Let's trade away my best player. So that's the breakdown that we got. Wanted to throw it out to Kamish, who is on site, it may look like. What's going on?
Yes and no. Hey, Tim, Cardo, we're on site. However, we're not giving them any play because they didn't give us a goddamn cent for this, bringing that up today. So I think it's a coffee shop, I'm going to say, and I think they lost some tips after our last um, recording from here. So, we're just going to say I'm on site. We're the last nice day this year. I think that's safe to say.
Yeah.
A nice 70-degree overcast, couple puddles near me, but let's get into it. We had a great week. Like you said, Tottenham Spurs Ford is just still killing it. No, he didn't have the best week last week. That goes to the Pookaboos I love use. But Ford did have the biggest blowout of Shasky at 70 points, who is holding strong and still trying to stay relevant. And I got to say, Ford is getting a little cocky, Tim. Um, Texted me after we tried to dead his whole team.
Yeah.
He thanked us for deading Darren Waller, to be specific, who had another good day last week to the tune of 20 points. Yeah, I'd say so. So Ford's killing it. But everything's good. No complaints. Like I said, we're out here on this last nice day. I think we should get into some recaps. I think we talked about some rankings last week. We're busy. We didn't prep at all for that. So punting that down to hopefully next week. And
Yeah.
we'll touch on that. So everyone enjoy the recap. Some waiver wire winners, some dead guys, some additional info. We'll see. But let's get into it. Anything top of mind for you in the recap?
Quick question on the Puka I
Yeah.
love you winning the $50 bill. Is that Puka's first win of the year? Very nice. Love to see
I
that.
love it too. The timing could not be better when folks are beginning to sell, him included. I know for a fact it's on his mind to start selling, but what a wrench! You
Yeah.
you come out of nowhere and just win the week. So it's just what a game. That's our what a game segment for the week. It's
And
great. So go ahead.
I do think too with that, it's maybe going into the year, the idea was, wow, this team has amassed such draft capital. They're going to win the $50 bill every week. I'm glad to see Puka get a $50 bill for the week, but also calling out. You have your expectations going into the year. Things shake out differently. Glad to see that he pockets the 50 for this week, but this is fantasy. Like nothing's predictable. And also it's such wide variance that no matter how dominant a team is, even take Ford's team that is so clearly dominant, they've won it a few times, but it's not like they're pocketing every single week. So I love having the high score thing. It you don't know what's going to come out of it each year. Some guy can be the most dominant and still get it every couple of weeks. It's not something that they're going to be dominating that win pool because there is the variance. So love to see that. Survivor pool, I wanted to check. Is that still rolling? And is there anybody that like any call outs of who's left in that pool?
Yes. So Survivor, we just lost Derek's rad team. Change it last week, which is a big name to lose. So right now, remaining in Survivor, we've got Nogs, rightfully so. They're killing it. We got the Hotspurs, rightfully so. They're killing it. Diesel guys, competitive team. But then we got the wild cards of Hardos and Baloney Squeezes. Yourself, still hanging around. So we got 5 teams left, 5 weeks left. Yeah, good call. We haven't talked about Survivor much, but that's another $50 bill that's just hanging out there to be claimed. So we'll be talking about that more obviously as they dwindle down more. But yeah, 5 teams left. So
And
good point for bringing that up.
and this is self-serving, but I would throw it out there that, and we've talked about, I mean, most points against in the league, it's me. That this, I think, Bamlytics department, but like, I think it's the first time that a team is has decided to sell on a season and still is in survivor pool. Like, I
Not
keep
only are you
scoring
in,
3-digit points every single week, but I was just like, it's done. The 2-5 record, we're over. We got to sell, but I still am in survivor. But I think my number will be called soon enough here.
yeah, not only are you in survivor, but you're still also in the top half of the league in points scored. So it's hey, it is what it is.
Not for long. We
What
will
I
get
what
into that
what
when we talk about trades. But all right, let's see. I mean, let's go with we'll go with your matchup. No. You gotta stick with the headlines. And the
mhm.
headlines are the Tottenham Hotspurs. Like, let's go where the points are. So this was not a overwhelming showing from the Hotspurs that we've grown accustomed to. 117, still very, very good. Beats up on Shayski. I got to check. Is Shayski now? Yes. Shayski is now in the 12th spot, but we love having him in American soil. We love hearing him talk up the Christmas hangs. We love, even though there's absolutely no chance this will ever happen, we love him on the Thursday night threads, throwing out
Mhm.
ideas of writing names on ping pong balls. Definitely not clearing that with any legislative bodies within the league. But Shea shooting from the hip in the team message thread is just the best.
Mhm.
But yes, here we do see the number one team, Hotspurs, beating up on Shayski. It's a 117-70. Hotspurs didn't have to go above and beyond in that 200 range that we've seen from them before. But this combination on the Hotspurs of McCaffrey and Kamara, it's just so much to handle. Kamara getting 10 catches a game. Darren Waller emerging in the New York Giants offense, who's been a little quiet to this point. Didn't even need much from Mostert. Mostert, a little banged up, 6 points for him in what was a pretty gross game against the Eagles, as we had predicted. And then let's see. Yeah, Tua didn't do much. So it was kind of like all of the other pieces for the Hotspurs were contributing, and it was the Miami Dolphins who have been the highlights of this team having a low light week that made it more in that range of like 120 for Hotspurs. And then yeah, Shayski, it's just like I talked about it going into the year, but I was like, this goes to show how drafting is just so random. But like those draft targets, I wanted Chris Olave, I wanted Devontae Smith, I wanted Christian Watson. He keeps all those guys, and it's just been tough sledding for what I thought was going to be one of the best receiving cores in the league.
Mhm.
So having all those keepers and all those guys underwhelming has been really the downfall of this team. So that's what we got on the Shayski side.
Olave and for, but yeah, they're going down quick. So it'll be interesting to see what Shakey does here with the trade deadline. By the way, I was asked when the trade deadline was, Tim. It is November 18th, I believe, the Friday. So we got time. It's not like this trade deadline in the NFL, which is on Halloween, I believe. But yeah, so you said to go where the points are, Tim. That's the Spurs and Shayski. I'm going to stay with the points and go to the Pookaboos. I love you versus the Marianne Hammocks. Biggest point total of the week for Pookaboo, 136 versus Marianne's 117. And this is what Gurley wanted. Trevor Lawrence, respectable. He got his waiver wire with Nakua for 18 more points. Najigmaba, 14 points. James Cook, 17. Gibbs, that high draft pick, 25 points. And his tight end for Andrews, 20. So this is what he envisioned for his team. He got it. It took 7 weeks, but he got it. I can't wait to see what happens with his team, what direction he goes. In 136 and week 7, when I think that was the biggest week for buys, that's going to win you the week. Even with Mahomes' 35 points, even with, Evans coming in with 17 and Baltimore's D, that was about it for Hammocks. And they, again, not a horrible week for them, but where do they sit? I know they're down low there. 9. again, I mean, they're a game out of the playoffs, so it all depends on what you choose to do and what direction you want to go. But they're not a bad squad by any stretch. But yeah, good week for the Pukaboos to stay up there, and that's all I got. Unless you got anything else there for that matchup.
No, sir. I'll swing it to fun dynamic of how this played out, but interesting shift of fortunes following a trade. So trade partners, Derek's rad team, change it, and the Fianna. Fianna trades Cooper Kupp to Derek's rad team and then beats him. Who
Did not pick up on that.
So Fianna, definitely a sell team. They got good performance, and really it was Lamar Jackson who has had it's been a tenuous start to the season, but now is settling into MVP level play. And yeah, if you look at those MVP odds, they've definitely gotten more in favor of Lamar in the past couple of weeks. It was just Lamar putting up 34, and then a bunch of other stuff happened for the Fianna. 16 from Cleveland, so that the Cleveland D, nasty. I'll be interested to see if Fianna tries to flip a defense. Usually not a lot of people putting value behind that, but it's an asset. Maybe it's able to get a pick swap out of that. But Fianna's still firmly a trade team, a sell team. Derek's rad team buying, comes up short here, 88 points. Cooper Kupp, 5.9 for the week. So tough start after that second round trade. And so then it's Saquon Barkley, it's DeAndre Swift doing some things for him, Ramondre Stevenson, like nice running back depth for sure for Derek's rad team. They are, I think, 5th in points for, just above me. So this is a team that has a really good record. But they probably, like, that's why they got Kupp, was to try to boost that. Longer term, this will work well for Derek's rad team, but Fianna gets the best of them this week. Uh-oh. We lost Intech and we got him back.
We're back. That's what happens when you sit outside. God, it's 2024. We can't even figure this out. How are we doing? Where are we at?
I just finished up on Derek's rad team and the Fianna. So
Okay.
we're throwing it to you on the next matchup here.
Okay, we're talking about Hardo and baloney squeezes, Tim. We got Hardo, 106. We talk about it every week. It is unreal how spot on you are always right around there. 106. It's a range of like 90 to 106. My goodness. But God, I mean, way to take advantage of AJ Brown, trade him away. You don't have a bad team. You're competing. Baloney squeezes, same deal. It was kind of a crapshoot this week. You know what I gotta say though? My takeaway from this matchup is I hate seeing teams sell, but I love you kind of committed to it. You and Grimmer were that team that, even though it's early in the season, fighting for that 6th spot, and I'm assuming there was no conversation about it with Grimmer, but you took an unspoken, like, this is it. The winner of this is going to go for that 6th spot. I didn't, man of my unspoken word kind of deal.
Yeah, it was tough. Especially Monday night. He has Jordan Addison, who rips a ball out of a defender's hand and takes it 60 yards to the house. It's just like, hey, not my season, but I'd rather have my heart ripped out like early and not have it come down to the final points. Like, once Addison was going off, it was extremely clear, no chance, done. I knew too, like, yep, I've scored a bunch of points. I'm 6th in points in the league. So, you would think that I should be towards the middle. I am not. 2-5 record. Like, knowing that, having a 2-5 record, I looked ahead of who I would be playing, and I tried to just do an analysis of, like, of the remaining 7 weeks until the playoffs, how many teams are buy teams, how many teams are sell teams, and I'm up against more buy teams than sell teams. So I was like, I'm going to not make up this space. And like you said, I tried to be very analytical and objective, of like making that decision of buy sell. This was clear as day. Baloney Squeezes gets it. Baloney Squeezes being a buy team moving forward here. And certainly looks like priority of they just record wise are in a good position to fill that 6th spot for the playoffs here. So hats off to the Squeezes and their buying opportunities down the stretch.
I love the work you did putting into looking ahead. I would not have even thought about that. I would just be like, nope, that's where I'm at, and that's what I'm gonna do. But no, good for you. So okay, that's Hardo. Where are we at? A couple more.
I got the Nog versus Diesel guys. Diesel guys kind of in a similar position to me where they're scoring points. Their team is good and they're just hurting on the record side of things. But in a much better position than I am. They're a team that I think they were on the cusp and didn't have as shitty of a record. Diesel guys being 3-4 now. And I like what they did. They're on the cusp and they said, we're making moves. We're gonna improve this team. I have faith in this team. I'm going to add to this team. It can lead to a situation like I had last year where I was on the cusp. I bought and I didn't make the playoffs, but I like this early in the season, having faith in the guys that you have on your team, adding another additional key piece and making a surge. So Diesel guys, they added Jacobs, right? Why do I not see him? There he is.
Yes.
Funny thing, Cooper Kupp gets added to Dedecker, 5.9 points. Josh Jacobs gets added to the Diesel guys, 4.9 points. So not the most auspicious starts for these key like second round values that they traded away to add to their teams. But again, like this is just short-term stuff. It's going to play out very well long-term. But Diesel guys, we've talked about them, bargain bin shopping at the running back position, them losing Kyron Williams. Like that was one of the revelations of the year. I think Puka for Groles was a huge waiver wire pickup. We have Thielen, huge waiver wire pickup for Dedecker, which I need to call out. Thielen was drafted by the Diesel guys, dropped and scooped up by Dedecker. So he even gets that keeper value. Will you want to keep Thielen into age 32 or whatever? We'll see. But we've got that piece. And then, yes, we have Diesel guys buying on Jacob. So Diesel guys losing Kyron Williams. That was like the one lucky bright spot in his RB room. Kyron Williams getting injured really decimated him at the position. So this was like perfect timing for him to add a stud running back in Jacobs. And then what do you know? Well, we're kind of looking ahead to the waiver wire here, but Diesel guys finds another bright spot off the waiver wire, picking up Deontay Foreman, who puts out 32 for the Bears. So for Diesel guys, it's all really Deontay Foreman carrying and then solid play from everybody else. Josh Downs, receiver for Indy, with Minshew spreading the ball everywhere, 19 points from him. So it's a good team. I like Diesel guys as making noise in the playoffs and think they bought the right time on Jacobs. I do nothing but talk about Diesel guys. They lost. They scored 113 up against 120 for the Nog. I'm going to stop now because you were making a face. What do you got?
Do we pray for the Nog this week? After that trend of making trades and having them underwhelm, is AJ Brown going to take a backseat to Devonta Smith?
I think it's AJ Brown has set like a record of, is it consecutive 125-yard games? If this trend continues, I think you go prayers up for sure for the Nog. But I wish nothing but good things for the guy that I just gave AJ Brown to. So we're gonna hope that he bucks the trend here. Talking about the Nog, 120, they get the win here. So it's just another like thin margin loss for the Diesel guys who put up a respectable number. But the Nog, if you just go through the Nog's matchups this year, because they've only lost one game, when they lost, it was to Ford putting up 200. And, otherwise, they've just they're just savvy. They're just finding W's. They win by slim margins. They just find a way. So The Nog is just he's done everything on the record side. He's kind of the opposite of me of like getting it done on the record side. He really needed a boost to his scoring potential. So it's a like quintessential buy team where points have been decent. The points have been pretty good. Record's incredible. How can I bolster my expected scoring? Add a new piece so he gets AJ Brown to help him out on the receiving core. But yeah, this combo, and he had it in a text thread to a few of us, but it's one of those things of like I have Hurts and I have Tyreek Hill. He can just lean on that every single week. That Hurts is gonna sneak 1 yard for the tush push for tutties that way. Tyreek Hill is gonna get him 20 plus every week. Like he can just always lean on that. And it's kind of it's an interesting roster after that. I put him in like the solid category. So AJ Brown, he needed him. It's going to be a huge add for his team, and I think he's going to have scoring that matches more closely to his record down the stretch.
Yeah. Look out regardless, but look out if he finds a running back too. He's Najee Harris, AJ Dillon right now is impressive what he's doing with them.
Yeah, the Jerome Ford waiver wire pickup now injured.
Yeah,
I think replaced by Pierre Strong, but now there's the Kareem Hunt factor. It's a little messy in the new old guys backfield.
Yeah. All right. Last one is yours truly here. Commissioner getting another win, kind of a scrappy win over the TGBs. Talking about the teams trading away big players and then having a good day. I was afraid that when Gus Edwards put 18 points up that I was going to lose to him when I got a little confident when he did trade away Josh Jacobs. But just a consensus, nothing crazy. ETN's been on fire for me, 22 points. He keeps it up. But yeah, my Jacoby Myers trade is continuing to pay off for me. Aside from that, nothing too crazy. Same for Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's always going to catch passes. And on the other end, TGB's had an okay day, 99 points, but nothing that really sticks out. So that's that. I'm hanging around towards the top. I play Ford this week, and I play Nog the following week. So a lot is going to be determined from the commissioner here in the next 2 weeks. And I can get a win out of that. You're going to see a happy commissioner, Tim. I will tell you that much.
I want to stop you. You got to be feeling good. You got to be feeling good about this team. They're number 2 in scoring. And this receiving core is so good. And what did you trade for Jacoby? A fifth?
No, double digits, I think. And Jameson Williams. And I got a 13. And I moved up there.
Did you draft Jacoby?
No, I traded for Jacoby.
You got Jacoby. Oh, you added in. Got it.
Yeah. I traded
good trade.
Godwin.
Well done.
Thank you. Tim, I love my team. I got ETN and Breece Hall are on fire. You know, if I'm getting on a soapbox here, Tajay Spears, who's going to have a bigger role when Derrick Henry gets traded. Dalvin Cook, I just picked up. If he can get traded to a player, I got Herbert on the bench when he gets healthy. You know what? Godwin on the bench too. Like he had 16 points last night. Let's go, Commissioner.
I think it's basically you have the types of receivers that I like, which are like not impressive names that just produce, but like the Nico Collins, Jacoby Myers stuff is like it's sick. They just get 15 points a week. They're just good. So yeah, it's a stack team, and how you were able to grind out ETN emerging out of that backfield, and then Breece Hall, same deal. Like it might have felt like a slow ramp up going into the year. Aaron Rodgers perhaps would have wanted Dalvin Cook, that veteran presence, snap his Achilles, and now it's all Breece all the way down for the final weeks here. Sick.
Thanks. Appreciate you gassing me up there. That was fun. Got me excited. I'm glad no one else is out here because that would have been annoying.
That was called complimenting the commish.
Okay. Thank you. I like that segment. We can do that again. Another new segment, not new segment, but little Power 5 information. And we're not going to talk about it a lot, but Broly winning that week. I just want to give you an update of Power 5 of all-time weekly wins. You ready for it?
Yep.
O'Toole's at 11 in fifth place. Tied for second place is a three-way tie between Growly, Tommy Wren, and yourself, Tim, at 12.
It's not
And
good.
then
I'm out.
I have 13. See, it's happened before. People have sold in 1 week. Again, like you said earlier, you never know what's going to happen. So,
Hey, don't
but
bury the
it's
lead.
great.
Who's number one? Bingo.
Only by a win, though. It's 13, 3 people at 12, and then 11. It is crazy how things just even out. Regression to the BAMS mean. Okay, so let's talk waiver. We're not going to talk a ton about waivers. I think that's something we're changing moving forward. Who won the week? Let's just talk about that. Who had the waiver wire pickup of the week? And you talked about it earlier. Go ahead and pump that up.
Yeah, it's Deontay Foreman for the Diesel
Yeah.
guys. It's
Yeah.
just like I just think Diesel guys have been managing their faces off this year. I've seen I just feel like every couple of weeks I just see another little savvy move, just getting in between the nooks and the crannies, finding value. So Deontay Foreman, maybe not the most inspiring name going into the week, and then just exploded like early in that game too. So good for the Bears, good for Deontay Foreman, good for the Diesel guys, just finding another piece of value.
Yeah, I thought I was being savvy 2 weeks ago. I picked him up, and he was the lead back in that first game that he played, but he didn't do anything, and I dropped him at like 11:58 a.m. because I didn't want anyone to benefit from him, and I wasn't going to play him, and I thought he was only going to have 1 week of play, so I dropped him and didn't do anything. But these guys saw through it, and he picked them up, and he benefited. So to the Diesel guys for picking up Foreman, and who knows, maybe we'll get another week out of him here. Roshan may have something to say about that. Let's go on to who's going to die this week. Did I miss anything? Albeit who's going to die?
No, we can do dead guys.
Dead guys.
Pull up some things. Was there anybody jumping out to you off the bat?
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, the quarterback's going to be Jared Goff. It's a shoulder. It is a game against the Las Vegas Raiders. And it is going to be, what's that guy's name that they have on defense? That Max Crosby? Yeah, let's go with that. Little blindside shoulder action for Jared Goff.
I'm going to go with, you know what? Got to update my view here. Let's go with, we'll go for Dak Prescott on the baloney squeezes. The Cowboys just gross me out. I just hate that team. I hate Mike McCarthy. I hate all the pomp and circumstance around that team. I would love something that would just like cut the head off the snake. Just like, I don't want to hear from this team. They're just the biggest frauds. Probably the only reason I would want them to keep going is like to unload my bank account in the first playoff game for them, because they get outwitted so easily because Mike McCarthy's an absolute dumb idiot. So I want them to make the playoffs so they can lose by 20 and I can make money. That's it. So nothing against the squeezes. Probably me just like wanting to trade one of my three quarterbacks of, two viable ones being Kyler Murray or Herbert. Want to create opportunity there. So we're going Prescott for the squeezes.
I like it. Let's move on. Wide receivers. And because Ford decided to speak up and rub it in my face that I picked Waller, I am going to double down on Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
He had a slow week last week, 7 points. He's starting to slow down a bit. He's going to overexert himself, Tim. You know what happens when you overexert yourself? That hamstring can't keep up. Good night.
I'm going to go with, oh man, why do I want to do it? Let's go. Yeah, it's a Cowboys week. Tony Pollard. We didn't know going into the year if he could handle this workload. He's been handling this workload to this point. Slighter frame. I think it's maybe just one of those things of touches adding up, and it's just kind of been funny that the entire idea was that Pollard was getting in or that Zeke was getting in the way of Pollard's very efficient running. And it was just so painfully obvious of you got to elevate Pollard to this role. They do it, and then Pollard's like just as efficient as Zeke was in previous years. So I just like it's again probably just the vibes that I'm feeling today. But I think maybe it's just the tread on the tire wears thin and Pollard goes down, and then it is going to make for a hilarious situation of like, is it Rico Dowdle? Is it Deuce Vaughn? Like who steps
Derrick
up,
Henry.
comes out of this backfield. So that's where my eyes went. You got to go with your soul.
Yeah, and you talked about who's it going to be in there, Dallas, and I hinted at possibly Derrick Henry. There's a lot of rumors out there that they're willing to take him on the team if Tennessee wants to eat some of that salary, but they better be careful because he's going to get hurt this week. Derrick Henry is my running back choice.
There we go. I realized you went receiver and I went running back, so way to toggle back smoothly because you said Keenan Allen.
Oh, that's a product of me not paying attention and just looking through.
That's my fucking guy.
looking through names of who I'm going to talk about.
Evil genius, unbelievable.
Oh my goodness! All right, who do you got for then wide receiver?
What's so funny is I had it up on my screen and I just immediately lost it. Oh, it's who I wanted to dead last week. We brought him up earlier, and it was just a bye week kept him from getting dead. But it is Adam Thielen on Carolina. They haven't won a game yet this year. Good for the Bears in that draft pick, but like it just has to be a thing of like you're past the age of 30.
Yeah.
And you're a possession receiver who's getting the ball funneled to him in a bad offense. And I just think like it's just creating too many opportunities for an old possession receiver to be lit up. I'm going with ribs, maybe over the middle, like reaching too high, exposing something. We'll go hairline fracture on the ribs just a few weeks. But again, last week I'm trying to get competitive. You're beating me 2-0 in deading guys, and I got to go for some of the more obvious choices.
Smart. And I cannot be happy that you brought that up, not for any other reason than I found a little bit of info on him earlier from the pod when we were talking about him, but he is a keeper, a 12th round pick.
This is what I'm saying, dude. It's a great pickup.
That's a great pickup. Yeah. Who's he on now? I know Derek.
He's on Derek's. He was drafted by Diesel guys in the 12th, dropped by Diesel guys, picked up by Derek, and now I could probably pull this up pretty quickly, but I think he is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's the 7th scoring receiver on the season.
My goodness. So 11th round keeper next year. So good for Derek. But on that note. Oh, yeah, dead. This is good. We have a minute left, so we can say our goodbyes. Anything else you want to add to the week? It was another good week. We are on week 8 now. We have 14. So we're downhill. We're gaining momentum here. Trades are going to come in. All good things. I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, I'll use the next 20 seconds as a shameless plug of trading guys. I throw it into the text thread as well. But you want a viable quarterback? Herbert, Kyler Murray. You want a keeper next year? Anthony Richardson. Give him up. You need some short-term running back help? Picked up Darrell Henderson. Rams backfield so gross, but always got to do those speculative ads. Tight end George Kittle. We got Michael Pittman, keeper, drafted I think in the 7th round. You can keep him in the 6th. Unbelievable. Lots to work with. Scope out my team. Let's talk. I
gotta say, I love how trades make you feel. Like you mentioned some frustration in weeks past when trades began of people like, early trades, a little, integrity type conversations being had. Like I see these trades happening now, Tim, and I haven't to date been in anything big right now. And I see these trades and I get pissed, just irrationally pissed. I'm like, I want that, but I don't want it. And it's frustrating. I love what it does to us in our heads. And it's just going to just build and build up until mid-November when it's going to be 6 stacked teams, probably 6 teams who pray that they don't